So let's begin. So for the last class, we had just learned about how to submit the paper to the journal, right? And I already show you with the real submission website and how to make the process and website. And so, and when you finish your submitting, and so what we can do right now? All right. So today's class we will learn about after submission, and we will be receiving some comments or some response from the journal. So let's see what we got right here, right? There are usually four types of the comment. The first one is the all right. After receiving the reply from the journal, and there may be the following four situations right here. Okay, the first one may be the rejection. That's the thing we don't want to see at last, right? It's a bad news from the editor. And generally speaking, the editor will reject your manuscript in a more tactful way, right? For example, well, we think your paper research is very meaningful, but we are sorry that there are some differences between your research field and this journal, right? Just some excuse about it, about the rejection. All right, and after careful consideration, and we will not consider publish your article, right? And if you are interested in, and you can turn to another journals of the group, such as some other journals, but some lower levels journals, right? That is the first type, the rejection. All right, which means you have no hope for this journal, for this paper right now. And maybe in the future you will make some optimization or some improvement about the paper. They'll be considered about it. All right. Oh, let's close the door. Some noise outside. Okay. And the second one here is okay. For the first one here, if you receive such a reply, okay, you can just start to switch to submit to other journals, right? If it got rejections, and of course, you don't need to lose your heart, right? You don't need to lower yourself to a lower level journal, and you can try another journal at the same level. But if you still get the same result, maybe you need to consider lowering your levels of the journals, right? But for some case right here, if you get rejection from the journal, and it doesn't mean that your research level is not good, or just uh, you have no nothing good like that. But maybe there are too much manuscript have been received by the journal, so they have the limitation of the numbers of the exception. So they just reject your paper. All right, and that's the first type. So which is the last thing we want to see, right? And for the second type right here is considered to be accepted after significant revise. So the significant revise means right here, means a lot, right? Um, the consider here, in fact, shows that your paper is more than 90% likely to be accepted. This is a good news, right? So very good news. That means you got to change. You got to change to be accepted after a significant revise. That's good news, right? But don't be happy too early, right? Most of them are difficult to modify, and or your article have major problems with that. And however, the editor and the expert or the reviewer think that your research is very meaningful. So they give you an opportunity to further improve your research, and then they will investigate it, right? For example, you may need to supplement some experiment or do some new research about your articles like this. And this will take you more than a month, and some experiment may be not that easy to carry out. And therefore, a student generally feels sad and happy when receiving such replies, right? To make some significant remarks. That's quite hard for student to make this. But you also got the opportunity to be accepted in this journal, right? And for the third type right here, that the minor revise is generally very good, quite good for here, right? And the reviewer and the editor may ask some simple questions. You can choose to make the simple modification according to the requirement, or just refute the expert opinions. And the refutation here is not so strict as not to agree with the reviewer's views, but to answer the reviewer's questions by interpreting your paper. And here I will be take some revision of the one of my paper as an example right here. All right, I will show you. Just wait a moment. Can you guys see that? Yeah, I think so. Okay.
Yes.
As you can see that here is the common, here's a mirror comment from the editor. And here you can see this is the review one questions right here, and here's the review two question right here. All right. The first one said our figure are not fully developed, could be improved. Right. However, I consider the figure to be below the level required to the journal, and figure quality has to improve, especially 2D and 3D diagrams. And there is plenty of space for improvement. I therefore encourage others to dedicate some time to this and something like that. All right, the first reviewer want me to make some improvement about my figures in the diagram in the paper, right? And it's clear one. And this one here is quite easy to be modified in your paper, right? And the second one here says, oh, he got 3 questions right here and 3 comments right here, right? And the first one is most of the review subjects are discussed in a qualitatively way instead of a quantitatively way. As this review is to deliver a comprehensive understanding of difficulty and resolution of semiconductor laser packaging, it would be instructive and insightful if discussions are supported by more quantitative comparisons of and data. All right, for this one here, it means so for this article here is a reviewer article. It's a review article, right? It's not like a scientific article. So for most of the time, I'll just make some evaluations and to introduce other people's results. And here it is to say, it means I look up some of the quantitative comparison and data between different papers, just qualitative with evaluations like that. So he means the review the second review means I need to make more quantitative comparison. All right. And the second comment right here is the English, right? Although the manuscript is readable, just readable. It's quite strict. It's just readable, and there are many grammar issues and typos. I encourage the author to polish the English and correct the top typos in the text, right? For this one here, maybe most of the journal will be give some comments about the language, the writing in English. And there will be, say, you got some grammar issues and typos like that. However, for some journal, it's not that good. So it will recommend you to go to the situation which can uh, make a beautification for your paper, and that is cost fees. All right, and it will be recommended to the situations which is under the journal, right? To earn some money from there, right? It's not good. But for this one here, it's just some medium advice, medium comments about it. So I just make some little bit changes about my grammar issues and typos. All right, for you guys here, I think your English is quite good, right? It's better than mine. So I don't have any worry about this. Okay. All right, and for the third one here, some abbreviations are lack of explanations. For example, the LED in line 61. All right, it's just maybe something I missed in the papers, and the it's not the explanation, the abbreviation didn't show like that. So for this one here is the comments from the reviewers. And you can see that for 1, 2, 3, 4, just four comments right here. And I just gave there some explanation about it and some modification about it. So for the first one here, the figure problem, right? The figure problem. So I gave them a new figures and just made it in a Word. And as you can see that I make the figures right here more clearly, and the text in the figures is bigger and clearly to show to the readers. Right? And right, lots of figures right here. So the review articles, and right. So first, this one here is just the first comments reply, right? And for the second one here, yeah, the quantity comparison about the data. So I'm going to show that his words are not that right, right? I made I already made quantitative comparison between the different researchers, something like that. All right, I just mark it in red, in yellow, and let him see that. As you can see that from here, here is a quantity, and here's quantity comparison, and here's quantity comparison right here. And you just make some explanation without modification, instead of you make modification about your journal, right? If their comments are not right, so just show them, right? You don't need to change you don't need to change your articles according to the comments for all things, right? Maybe something they said is not right, so just show them, and to improve your gut sense and not like this thing, right? So right here, there's lots of quantitative comparisons, right? I just mark it in yellow. All right, and for the English right here, let's see. English right here, I just make some little modification about my sentences and my grammar issues to improve it. All right, and let's see what's new next. All right, and the abbreviation leak from the leak of the explanation, I already changed it and changed the word right here is laser diode. So I give a full name for it, right? So that is how we make the revise about our articles, right? You need to, according to the comments from the reviewers, and ask and answer all the questions from them, right? Maybe you don't need to change your papers according to the comments, but you need to answer the questions according to them, right? All right, that is, let's continue. Just wait a moment. Okay, that's it. So that's the third type of the comments, right? And that's the third time right here. And that's the final one. All right. And the last one here is needless to say, right? Congratulations. So that is the paper is accepted directly without any modification. That is a really good news, right? And I have also met this kind of situations before, and I have submitted several articles on the optic before, right? It's a journal name, optic. And the editor is familiar with me. And so I don't need to modify anything to hire directly, to be accepted directly. And of course, there are also such situations. For example, your paper is really good. And if you lower your level and go to some journals not that good, they will be happy to accept your papers, right? They're afraid of your withdrawal or regret, so they rush to accept you, right? And one of my previous paper was that it took less than 1 month for delivery to the employment, and which was really fast to be accepted. All right. So, any questions about the comments right here? Do you have any questions about it?
No, 老师。
Yeah. No. You mean no questions? No problems?
Yes, yes, 老师, no problem.
Okay, that'd be good. All right, and let's see. So after receiving the comments here, and no matter what type, what the reply of the paper is, and the following are the all thing you should to do, right? And the first thing is you need to carefully read the revision comments of the reviewers and editor department, right? And make revision to the papers based on the comment, right? You need to base on the comment, not just far away from it, all right? And it should be noted that although some comments may not be so appropriate, right? Just like I showed you before. And he said quantitative comparison, I already did. So it's not so appropriate. And you can consider why the reviewers raise such comments. You can consider why they think about it. And whether they still have the certain defect in your papers, or what content is not clearly expressed. Right? Maybe therefore you can modify according to the comment to make your papers more perfect and impassable, right? So it doesn't matter the comment is, and you modification your papers whether or not. You just think about it. Why are the people thinking that way, and answer the question. You may have some consideration about it and improve your articles and make it perfect, right? And it's just like all right. And for secondly, and we need to just wait a moment. All right. Just secondly, we need to check your paper again, and including the arguments, data, and experimental results, and formulas and chart in the article. and whether the language of the article is concise and free to grammatical errors. Right. I don't know actually much about your English writing and grammar level like here, but I think you right. I think your English level maybe is better than mine. So I'm not that particular worried about it. All right. So guys, do you think your English level is quite good? Mm-hmm.
No, 老师。
So let me ask a question. So is English is your first language or second language? Your
Second
native speaker
language.
or not?
National language.
Mm-hmm.
It's my national language.
All right. So you're not native speakers, right?
Nah,
But why your English is that good? It's quite good. Your English is quite good.
because we use it to study like from childhood. In the whole nation, that is what we use as an official language. So because the first language is our native language, like different languages in our villages. But
Yeah, of course.
generally across the country, we all speak English.
Mm-hmm. That's good. And so how about your Chinese right now? Mm-hmm.
Actually, what's up? What's up?
Bad, it's bad.
Speak for
maybe
yourself,
all right. So maybe if you want to develop your education in China, you maybe to improve your Chinese, right? I'm not worried about your English. I'm a little bit worried about your Chinese. All right. And so all right, come back to class, all right? You should carefully check whether there are grammatic errors or typos. Right? And even you are just maybe just imagine that you are native speaker like that. You maybe make some mistake about grammar errors and typos. Right? So just carefully check it out, right? And in fact, right, no matter whether the paper is accepted or rejected, we should express our gratitude to the editor and reviewer. Because even if the paper is rejected, we should leave a good impression on the editor, so that the editor will have a better attitude when you submitting your journal again in the future, right? And your paper maybe also have a better chance to be accepted. So be polite and be gratitude, all right? And the second point that is that you must reply to the questions raised by the editor and reviewer within a limited time, right? Before the deadline, you need to make the revised reply to the journal. And generally speaking, the time for the minor revision, maybe 1 or 2 weeks, all right? And the time for the major revision may be longer and about 1 or 2 months like that. All right. Anyway, you should pay attention to the deadline as soon as you receive the reply. And if you cannot reply within the deadline, then you need to plan the reason to the editor and ask some more time like that. Or otherwise, the overdue paper will be rejected, right? So just reply before the deadline, right? And that's what you do is to pay attention to the deadline, right? So right for here, and I'm going to show you how to respond reasonably to expected draft, right? And generally speaking, the initial review right here. All right. When you submit your papers to the journals, and it includes 3 different stage for the journals right here. And first one is the initial review, and which is for the editor. And for the second one is re-review, is for the reviewers right here. And for this one here is a final review, is for the for another editor, for the, let me see, for the chief editor in the journal, right? And generally speaking, for the initial review, it takes about 15 days. And the second review, which maybe take about 2 months for the reviewers to watch your papers and to make some investigation about it, right? And the final review take about few weeks, right? And the initial review, the initial review is your paper reviewed by the editor. That's what I just said. And for the second one, the re-review right here is to the reviewer that's the expert or the professor in the college, right? That's the reviewers. And so for the final review right here is the chief editor will decide whether your paper will be accepted according to the comments of the editor and the reviewers of your reply and your replies to the comments. All right, it will be made a judgment by the chief editor. And generally speaking, your paper submission page will show the current status of your paper, right? In the website, do you remember the submission website? And it will show the current status of your paper. And therefore, you can always pay attention to the status of our own papers on paper submission page, and which is generally divided into the following 2 types. All right, the first one is with editor, and which means that the editor is conducting a preliminary selection, and during this period, the editor usually make a preliminary judgment on whether your paper meets the needs of the journal, or just whether to further review your contributions by taking into account the recent numbers of the submission received by the journal. And if the numbers of the page received during this period is far greater than the need of the journal, they will not be considered for the submission and will be rejected directly. Right, that is what I said. It's why your paper may be getting rejected. It's not because your paper is not good, right? It's just because there are too many manuscripts and for this period, right? And the second one is with or under review, and which means that your paper has passed the primary selection of the editor and found, which is found the reviewers in relevant field and reviewing by the reviewers. And therefore, after your paper is submitted, right, if the status of the with editor lasts for more than a month, you can consider to expect it, right? It's too long. Maybe they didn't find any reviewers about the papers, right? And or maybe you just too much manuscript for editor to handle with. And generally speaking, if you enter the under a review stage, and you don't need to urge, right? Just wait patiently. But in generally, I do not suggest you to urge the review. And if you have not in a hurry to publish this paper, and just be a patient and keep things good, right? So, how do we communicate with the editor if we really want to expand its draft? And there are 2 key points, right? The first one is be politeness, right? And the second one is be patient. Be patient. And let's just look examples and the template of the expecting draft right here. All right, just an example right here. Just wait a moment. Examples right here. Let me see it. Here we go. And as you can see here, it's the expected draft right here, and which is in very quality way, right? The editor sums the name of the editor, right? And sorry for disturbing you. I'm not sure if it is the right time to contact you to inquire about the status of my submitted manuscript title, the paper title, right? And although the status of the with editor has been lasting for more than 2 months, all right. If it just take so much time, like 2 months, to just write this letter to the editor. And since submitted to the journal 3 months ago, I'm just wondering that my manuscript has been sent to the reviewers or not. And I would be greatly appreciated if you could spend some of your time to check the schedule for us. I'm very I'm very pleased to hear from you on the review's comments. And thank you very much for your consideration and best regard and your sincerity and just be so polite. All right. And here is the example of the expected draft, and you can just use it in the future, right? Just pay attention to that. Only your paper is submitted about 2 months or 3 months like that, and you just write this letter. And if not, just pay attention to it, because nobody likes expected, right? Nobody likes to be hurried like that. All right. So let's move on. Let's see. Here we go. All right here. And right. Here are some common reasons for the rejections. Right. Just to give you some examples and to show you how to make the opportunity higher opportunity to be accepted. Right. And the first one is the lack of creativity to repeat the work or others. All right, absolute content. And the second one is absolute content. And the research content is not is of no significance, right? And the above things right here, the three things right here is basically determined when you choose the top, right? Do you guys still remember how to choose the topic? Right. Whether whether paper has innovation and whether it is new ideas and whether the things you study are meaningful. That is why I always to emphasize that I must find the difference between myself and others and highlight the more advanced or unique aspects of my research content compared with other ones, right? That is why I ask you to show you how to select the topic and then just make a lot of practice about it, right? Have you guys still remember how to choose a topic? Skills to choose the topic. Anyone?
Yes, 老师。
Yeah, just tell me how to choose the topic. The most important thing is Yeah. Somebody asked me the question. No, no one remember?
Oh, sorry, Lash, come again.
How to choose the topic?
Yeah, choose topic. How to choose topic?
Yeah,
To-
Laushi, we need to find some of the research paper written by someone, and we need to make it more efficient. For example, you given examples such as the about the
Mhm.
radius of the milling or something like that, or sorry,
Right.
surface roughness. So
Yeah.
it was 0.05 millimeter. So we should try to make it 0.4 or less than 0.5 millimeter in
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah, that's good. You just give an example about it. That's quite good. So what is the number is?
Laushi 6.4.
64. 64, I mean.
Yes, Laushi.
Okay, good. Good job. Yeah, that is why I just spend a lot of time with you guys to know how to stack the top. Because if your work is not meaningful and it's not unique and different from others people's work, and there'll be no value for you guys to do the research, right? And you will really fail from the beginning, and it will be meaningless. Okay, so that is why we need to do the things real meaningful and real new ideas. You can come up with new ideas and unique ideas, right? That's why. So this is the first three comments right here, comments reasons for the rejection here. And for the fourth one right here is the major error, the major error in the content, right? A major mistake is when your experiment runs counter to scientific theory or results that are obviously impossible. And for generally speaking, the reviewers are expert or professor in your research field. So they all have the solid academic foundation and some obvious mistake in the professional knowledge will be very obvious to them. So don't make major errors in the content, and you need to self-check you need to check by yourself. And is that reasonable? Is that impossible? And is that just counter to the scientific theory? Right? Just make judgment before you submit your paper. Right? And the last one is lack of persuasions. This means that also you maybe have to put forward a relatively new argument or discovered a new phenomenon, and your description of the argument and the argument supporting the conclusion in your articles are too poor, right? And you usually need to add some experiment or theories that can verify your conclusion from other perspectives, right? That is lack of the persuasions. And oh, for this one here, also there are some papers disliked by the editor and the reviewer, which is like the first one right here. The article writing on no hierarchy, right? Hierarchy. And for some students maybe have not never listened to my class, so the review paper will lack of the sense of the hierarchy. And we can regard the paper as an audience, right? You guys know audience. And first, the outermost skin, right, which represent the research background, right? And that is the introduction part of our paper. And this part not only just explains the importance of the research field, but also points out the shortcoming of other people's research. and which leading to our research content. And in this way, we have come to the main body, right? And we can show our conclusions at the beginning and the main body, and we should first make a good preparation and introduce the method used in our research and theoretical research foundation we have done in the early stage of the experiment, so as to make our result more convincing. And then the final result comes out of the study will be introduced. And then we discuss the result and share our findings with the reader, like telling a vividly story, and explain the reasons for this result for it, right? And finally, throughout our research and what conclusion we have drawn and what use this conclusion will have, right? If you expand the research content step by step like this, and your paper will have a sense of the clarity, right? I already told you about the structure of how to make the structure of the scientific paper, right? And just like how to say it? It's a triangle like this, right? It's from the point to the surface and to the whole body, right? To make the article more sense of the heritage, right? And the second one is the article is not fluent in writing and is stiff in reading. And this is a test of some students' writing skills. Of course, the article is composed of many parts, right? And each part is also composed of many paragraphs and can be divided into many sentences. And from the macro and the micro perspective, we need to use some connecting skills to make the whole paper seem coherent and complete. And this technique to include some of the words I mentioned earlier, right? For example, in the instruction part, and we can review the research in different periods, right? And what are the early studies and what are the recent studies, like that, right? Is separated by the period. And then there are just transition words and upwards at the beginning of the sentence, so that the sentence and paragraph can be skillfully connected, so as not to appear to state things, right? And there will be lots of words and lots of skills for to make the article more frequently, more fluently, and maybe make a list of the words that and show you, right? And show to you. And the third one, right here, the incorrect sentence and many words and improper word and punctuation marks, like that. And these are all things that we need to check over and over again, right? Because this mistake will make the editor think that you don't pay attention to the review, and they will think you are rude. That's quite rude. And these are the most basic requirements. So you guys need to do it in good job, right? You need to check your paper again and again to make sure that these things will never happen. All right, and let's see. Okay, just have a break, guys. Just take a break.
All right, Loshi.
Okay, Loshi.
All right.
Okay.
Loshi, if you don't mind, share this PPT in our group.
Do you pardon, please?
If you don't mind, then share this PPT in our group.
Sure, I will sure. I will show you.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
All right, guys, back to class.
OK，老师。
Mm, just wait a moment. Okay. All right. And right, where are we going? Right here. Inconsistency between pictures and text is also a sign of careless, right? And it is usually shown by the wrong pictures numbers or the all right, just for instance, right here, inconsistency between drawing and text and the picture is too small, and characters and symbols in the picture is not clear, right? That is comments the reviewer asked me to, right? So I just modified all of my pictures and pictures, right? And and of course, it's usually showing that maybe wrong pictures numbers or the wrong picture placement, okay? And the text symbols in the picture and should be clearly recognized by the readers. And generally speaking, and the font of the picture should be consistent, and which means that the text size in each picture in your paper should be the same as far as possible. All right, each text in your figures need to be in the same size as far as possible. And the text size is usually just one font size smaller than the font in your text. All right, just a little bit smaller than the text in your manuscript. That is the requirements of the text in the figures. And the paper with incomplete references or the intentionally avoiding very similar work. And similarly, after checking the text and the references is also the part that you need to focus on, right? And you should ensure that each citation in the text can be found the corresponding articles in the reference list, and the order cannot be wrong, right? And moreover, the search of the references should be comprehensive, and the meaning of the original text should not be changed like that. And which is also what I said before, right? And the final one is it's too long, and some non-basic principles are not too much, are too much. And the description of the paper must be conscious, and that is what I just say is quite important since and thousand times before, right? And try to clearly describe the core meaning of the paper with short words. And the paper cannot be like a composition, right? It cannot be like composition. And every sentence in the paper has its meaning. And just try to delete some irrelevant sentence. All right? So just wait. 啊，放走，谢谢。Right. And after give some tips of the paper submission, right? And here are some submission skills. Right, applied papers can be considered to be submitted to the journals of other disciplines. Right, the first one is, and for example, there are many journals that receive a wide range of the field, and sometimes your paper does not have to be submitted to the journals in the field or the professional research. And because these professional journals are often have very high requirements for the levels of the professional knowledge, right? But some journals have the same impact factor and levels, but they are easier for you guys to submit the paper, and that's a much higher opportunity, much higher chance for you guys to be accepted, because their demand for the accepted paper is usually much larger than that of the professional journals. So just recommend you guys to submit the paper to the applied papers, right? Applied journals. And the second one here, second skill here is pay attention to the timeless, right? And this is referred to your research results, and your research content may be new and present, right? But after months or a period of time, your research result may not be unique, because there are many people in the same research field in different countries and in different schools. Like that. There will be a lot of people doing the same thing at the same time in the world, right? And for example, I will spend a week and quite a month in the meditation with my tutors to come up with an innovation, and was preparing to carry out an experiment. And when I suddenly found on the internet and that the research team of the Hunan University had made a identical research experiment already, right? It just disappeared it, right? And therefore, doing the scientific research is like fighting a war, and every minute counts, right? Every minute counts. And maybe you will be limited by others because one second. So pay attention to the timeless, and just when you come up with the idea, and just go ahead and do the experiment and do the research, and without no hesitation. Of course, unity judgment is that impossible, and is to judgment is valuable, is worth this for you guys to do the research, but here about the timeless, right? And the final thing is we should pay attention to the requirement and characteristics of the journal, right? The number of the issues and articles per year, right? Okay. In fact, there is a difference between the peak season and the off season for submission paper for different journals. Just pay attention. The off season and the peak season, right? For example, for the February is the peak period for the submission, and large numbers of the graduated students needed to graduate and will maybe to submit the paper at this time, at this period. If they are not urged to graduate, it is better to avoid this period, right? Because too much manuscript and for the journal maybe lead to the editor consider to reject your papers because there are too much submissions. And generally, the feedback rate of the submission in the April and May is faster, right? The April and May is a good opportunity for you guys to submit the paper. And the probability of the acceptance will be higher in that period, right? Remember, so April and May, that'll be a good time for you guys to submit the paper. And so far, for the writing of the scientific paper has been basically finished. And according to how to write scientific paper and how to submit the scientific paper. And so do you guys have any questions about the course we have learned? Any questions about how to write scientific paper or just submit scientific paper?
Yeah, Lasha, I think like to submit a paper on a journal, maybe it's different from platform to platform. Like last time I submitted a paper for one of my brother, and it's just as simple as that. I just asked them what's the format, and they send me a message. You have to do like that, and then I did it. I sent it, and then they accept the paper. I don't know how much simple is that.
You mean your paper has been accepted?
It's not my paper. For one of my brother, I helped him.
So what the problem is? So what the question is?
My question is it like the submitting paper in journal is vary from platform to platform? Like if I submit a paper in Nature and then I submitted another paper to Springer, so maybe it's different, right? The
Yeah, it's
ratio of
different.
accepting paper is quite different.
You mean is that same thing if you submit a paper to the Nature or to the normal journal like that?
Yeah, kind of. Before I was like very scared. It will work or not. This will work or not. And then I watched some videos in YouTube and then read some articles. And then I submitted the paper and they accepted it.
So so which journal have you submitted? Is it Nature?
No. It's maybe it's a normal journal. I don't remember the name right now, but we have to we paid to the journal.
Oh, so it's open access.
Yeah, it's open access.
Yeah.
It's International Journal of Scientific and Research Publication.
Oh, that's an applied journal. So which means it can it involves about a lot of lot of field of the research. You can just send it to it.
Yeah,
And
that's why
maybe
I asked you, like, if I want to publish a paper, but I don't want to pay them. So how it can be?
is that actually for some journals that you can just choose the options, right? You can just choose the options that is that open access or not. You can choose for it. You can maybe he's asked you to pay the fee and pay the cost for the open access, but for some papers, it's not necessary to get it open access. And but for some papers, it is require you to pay for it because it only have the open access way, right? But some
So
papers are not.
is it like if I want, I don't need to make it open access, so I don't need to pay?
Yeah, you can have a conversation
I can
between the
choose,
edit.
or I must have to follow their rules.
It depends. For some journals, you can choose for the options, but for some journals, it's not because the whole of the journal will be open access, right? But for some journals, you can choose. It have different types of the submissions.
But what's the difference between open access and then maybe closed access? We can download any paper from internet. How it's work?
Yeah, actually, I talked about this question before, right? And for the open access means uh, everyone can download the paper from the internet and in different ways, in the official ways, right? And because you pay for the fee and you pay for the paper, which means you pay for the readers to get the access for the to read your articles, right? But for the closed access for the paper, which means the reader needs to pay the fee to read your paper, and
Yes.
which means the open access will be that if your paper is in open access, it will be more widely spread in the world, right? It will be downloaded by more people because it's not cost anything, right? It just costs your money. So that's a difference. And for lots of the good journal, it will be open access. But for actually, for some bad, not that good journals, it also costs money, right? And so it depends. Different lot of types of journals and depends. And you can just go to the laptop between your submissions of paper, and you can see that it said whether it is open access or not, right? And determine by yourself. All right? Does that answer the questions?
Yeah, Lofi, another question. Did you heard about R programming?
Up programming.
Yeah.
Never heard about it because maybe
Latex.
no. What's the
Like
area? What are the
I
what is the
heard
field?
like if you want to format your paper,
Mhm.
you must have to know R programming and latex. Then you can format your paper very well, and then you have to submit it to the journal.
Uh,
And
what is the color again?
it's called latex.
Latex. How to spell?
L-A-T. I'm not sure. L-A-T-E-X maybe.
LATX. No, never done this before. And for another one?
It's R programming.
R programming.
Yeah.
You
Which
mean
mean
this are two instructions or something like
yeah,
that?
this two method to format any paper to
So
publish in the
it costs
journal.
fees. So you need to pay
Like
fees for.
like I saw your paper you shown us like you mentioned every line as a number. You see?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you read it in MS Word?
Um. Actually, it depends, right? Different journal have different formatting requirements, and you don't need to do that 100% exactly uh,
So they will
according
do
to
it for us?
you pardon please.
Like
The editor will
platform
do the
you
editor
told.
will do the formatting for you if your paper is suitable for them. Okay, so they maybe do the formatting for you um because that is what their job. That is the job of them, right? They need to do the formatting and maybe if you just have some major problems and you will need to modification by yourself. But for the formatting things and the editor will do it for you.
So
Okay?
we must have to pay for them.
No, you don't need to pay for them.
But
It's free.
last time you saw you shown us a website letpub.com, right? And then when I entered, then I saw like you can check your grammar, you can fix your problem there, plagiarism. And then I
Yeah,
click there.
that is
They're
not
asking
free.
me to pay. It's
Yeah, that's not free.
$98.
Yeah, for the institution, to help you to formatting your paper is not free. But for the journals, some journals and maybe some minor formatting modification will be free for editor to help with you. Right? It will
Mhm.
cost nothing because they want your paper and they will do the job for you in free way, okay, for free.
All right.
And
Okay.
so, and there are lots of formatting institutions on the website, right? And it costs fees. And I have tried one before, and I have tried one before, which is in Chinese. It's which is main name is Edit. It's Edit Edition, I think, right? And it will have three or two or three native speaker, and which is know about your research area and help you with formatting, right? If
Mhm.
it's not that suitable for native speaker, just don't know anything about your work, and it's not suitable for them to format a paper. They require some technology about and knowledge about your research, and so he can format your paper well, right? But it cost me 3,000 yuan RMB.
Ah, 3,000 to just for formatting.
Yeah, just for formatting.
Oh.
Um, so it's quite important for you guys to improve your English writing skills, right? It will save your money and just
So Laoshi, like if you want to check your grammar or like polish your paper or proofreading,
Mhm.
how much you have to pay them?
Uh, so you asked me how much I want to pay for the fee.
Yeah, like for polish your paper.
It depends.
Depends,
If
right?
if
But
the journal is that good, it's in Q1, or
uh-huh.
maybe I will pay for it for 10,000, maybe more. That'd be okay, I think.
10,000 only. Really? Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
because
So
the paper is
publishing a
for
paper is not like it's not like joke. You have to pay a lot of money.
no, it's just for some situations, because for some situations you need to you not only to it's not only about the formatting, right?
Hmm.
For example, for the Nature and the Cell, you know about the journal, the Nature and the
Uh-huh.
Cell. It's
Yep.
quite a famous journal in the world, right? And it and and most of them are in medical field, right? In medical field. And in medical field, so you need to draw beautiful figures and beautiful graphic, like that, right? Like the cell graphic and the DNA graphic, like that, right? Some sketches in the paper, and you need to pay for the situations which will be to draw the figures for you, and it costs a lot, right? If you
Yeah,
want
it
to,
seems like it's very expensive.
yeah, it's quite expensive. It's not on. It's not on. The money is not the most valuable thing for some scholars, for some researchers, because they don't have time to do the formatting thing or to draw the figures, and they have no such good technique to draw these good things. So they give money for for the institution to help them, and it works, right? It works because you got the best paper in the world, and you cost the fee like that. It's worth, right? You need to make some judgment and the balance between the work you have done and the the money you have paid and the achievement you have got, right? You need to make a balance between them.
Yes, yes.
Because if you have published a paper in the Cell or the Nature, you got a lot of money in the future, right? So the cost is not it's worse, right? It's worse to cost. It's
So,
just a monthly.
Loshi, I need a suggestion from you, please.
Pardon, please?
I need a suggestion from you. Is it like if I want to publish a paper as a bachelor student, like you know my ability, like at least how much money I need to get ready?
For yourself, I'm not recommend for you guys to pay for the fees by yourself, all right? Because for yourself, it's a money earned by your parents or something like that. And for if you get a postgraduate or just in master degree or just PhD like that, you can ask for your tutor to pay for it, right? It's not for yourself to pay for it.
Yeah, I get you, but right now no one will pay for me because I don't have tutor or anything now.
So are you in hurry to publish a paper on that?
Not like that, but I'm trying to get some idea from you.
All right, if you don't have the money to pay for the journal, then you can just select the not the closed access journal. It also has a lot of good journals which is not open access. All right, and you don't need to pay any fee about for it.
Oh,
So that's
alright.
my advice. And for the formatting thing, you just format it by yourself, and it costs some time, but it's free, right?
Yeah, it takes. It's not like sometimes it's really long time needed.
So if you maybe for the first paper you need to spend a lot of time. For the second one, for the third one, it will be more good, right? You'll be improve your skills about it.
Yeah, that's true.
And so any more questions about it? And if they're not, and we'll be come to the next process, which is the writing practice from them. All right. For this course right here, I just want you guys learn how to know how to write with your scientific paper, right? So here I got some writing practice for you guys to practice your writing skills and practice and to let you know better how to write about the articles, right? And for the first one, I want to make some summarize of other papers, right? For this one here, I want to just you guys already know about the introduction part of the paper, right? How to write the introduction in scientific paper, right? I also told you before. I already taught you how to write the introduction, right? So that is full of the some summarize and the review of the other people's work. All right. So for today,
Laushin,
yeah.
in the final assignment, we need to review others paper, that is summarize others paper.
Can you pardon please?
Laushin, in the final assignment of our course, we need to summarize others paper.
Yeah. For the final practice, I prefer to call it final work, right? The final mission is to submit a review paper, and that review paper is not a real paper because it's not it's maybe too much higher level for you guys to reach the real paper, right? And what you need to do is just okay, I will type it. So for you guys will be clearly see what you need to do. Okay, just wait a moment. Mm, let me see. Okay. All right, just for example right here, okay? It's just example. So can you guys have seen my windows right now? Okay, good.
Yeah, also you can see it.
Okay. So for the final mission is for you guys to write just a review of your work, right? I changed my mind, not for other people's work, not the review of other people's work, the review of your work, which is like you need to give the. I already asked you to choose the topic of the research, right? I already asked you guys to do it as a homework to choose a topic as a research. So the title will be the research you need to. The title will be the title will be you should choose them before, right? And you just give a title for it, and you need to you don't need to make a abstract for it, okay? You don't need to make an abstract because the abstract will include the result and the experiment result. And you guys cannot do the experiment or the research like that. All right. So what you guys need to do is just just make an introduction of your research field. Okay. Just give an introduction of the research field. The instruction, you guys already know how to write an instruction, right? is to is to just introduce the research you have done, why you done this research, and why is this research so important for you guys to do it, right? And just make some introduction about other people's work to make a review of other people's work, and just give a introduction about what are you going to do, right? Just three stages right here. Okay. So what the final just to say clear. Okay. Final mission. Final mission here. Okay. To give the title of your research topic and introduction. And the introduction will be include why you study in this field and why it is important for you to study and what other research research have done about this field of work and make some evaluation about what are you going to in the research. Are you all right? That's the final mission right here. All right. So can you guys understand what I'm saying? You just need to write an introduction. You just need to give a title of the research topic and write an introduction about your research topic. Okay. So it requires you guys to do a lot of literature research about it, about your research field, right? Just do literature research about it. And to and to write the review in the introduction. Okay, in the right formatting, you need to make the citation like this. Okay. Oh, and last, you give a reference list. I give a reference list for it. Okay, and the reference list also needs to be in a good formatting. Okay, it's just like the first one and the name of the other, the second one, and the third one, and ETAL, and the title of the go, and whether it's journal or not. All right, and journal name. And the year of publication, and the volume, and what is it say? What is it say in the and page? All right. So that is all guys need to do. All right, it's the final mission. So guys can just start it from now and do the final mission. And that is for you. Remember, it's for your topic. All right, it's a research topic you have already choose before. And maybe I already gave you some advice about how to make your topic more detailed, or just to improve it, to make some difference between other people's. Just need to write your research topic as a title and just give an introduction about it. Right, the introduction include why you need to why you study in this field and why it's important for you to study. So give a background for your research, right? Give a background for your research, and what other researchers have done about this field of work. And this is the review of the other people's work, right? About your research area, which is not at the same research of yours, because your research need to make some difference between others people's, right? And finally, and give some evaluations about other people's work, right? Give some evaluations about other people's work, and finally give the let me know what are you going to do for the research, right? For this one here, for this stage here, it's just instruction. Okay, and for this one here, just review the reviews right here. You need to make make the literature research about it, right? And you need to make the citation of the papers like that. All right, in the right
Lovely.
form. Yeah.
Laushi, the three things you have indicated, why you study in this field and why it is important, and the last two, these things are included in the introduction part or in different part?
It also including the instruction part, right?
Also. So just we need to write only the title of the research topic and just the introduction
Yeah, that is. And the
and the
reference
reference
list.
list.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
reference list. And
so
reference
Laushi,
list, you need, yeah.
do we need to add any figure or picture, something like that, drawing?
No, because you don't, because you cannot do the experiment or some study research exam. If you do so, that would be great. All right, but if you do not do the research, it's okay, because I think you do not have time to do the research. Okay. All right. So you don't need
And
to,
Lordship,
yeah.
what will be the format of writing? It should be in Chinese format or something like that.
Yeah, you mean for the reference list, right?
No, Lordship, the writing format.
The formatting, the writing format.
Yeah, Lordship.
You need to just like this, just like this SAIs, it's okay, right?
Okay, Lordship.
It's not that specification for you guys to do the formatting things requirements. All right, you just need to care about the citation formatting and the reference list formatting that we do. Okay,
Okay, Lordship.
all right. So I think it's simple. It doesn't need to do the research or the experiment like that. But I want to say you guys, all of you guys, have a different title and research topic and different instruction of yourself, of your work, right? I want to see the difference. And it doesn't matter. I said before, it doesn't matter if your work is good or bad or not. I just want to make sure that it's a work from you and it's original, all right? So for copy from others, there'll be have no mark, have no score for your final submission. All right. So
Yes,
make
Lordship.
sure that your work will be original. I will be happy for to read about all of your works. Right? So for everyone. Okay? And I think I think for this final
you have to
mission
decide.
here is quite easy.
If your university or school class is more important than this class, that's your decision. If I were you, I will take this program and leave any other class. Okay. In fact, you should tell your professors, professor, cancel this class and come and attend this program. Your professor will learn. Okay. So don't waste your time.
All right.
Yes, sir. Sorry.
So that you are talking to me, but it's not a voice from you, right?
Yeah, sorry.
All right. So any questions about final missions? Any questions? And I will send it to the group. Okay, I'll send it right now. Okay, the final mission. Where is it? Yeah. We. And this one. Yeah. Final mission. For professional lecture writing. Keep it up. Okay. All right, and I think you guys need to submit this this work for the last class, okay? Before the last class. All right, and for next
Yes,
class, maybe we are going to do some practice about it. All right, I will show you how to make the instruction, to write with the instruction. Right, that'll be easy for you guys to finish your final missions work. Okay, and of course, for the future, for the other class in the future, I will talk about some skills or some writing not techniques for you guys to write with the graduation paper, right? Are you guys in grade 4 right now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Lordship.
Yeah, I will give some advice or some skills for you guys to doing with your graduation paper. Okay, for the
Yes,
for the
Lordship.
future. Okay, so for today's class is just like this. Okay, so see you
Yeah,
guys next week.
another thing, Lashi.
Yeah, you see.
Maybe you didn't discuss about citation. how to get how to give a citation to other people. So in next class, is it possible?
You mean how to give the citation for other people's work?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. In next class, I will show you. Okay,
Yes, sir. Okay.
I will show you detailedly. Okay, so see you guys in next class. Bye. And the monitor, remember to send me the attendance list, please, for this class and for the last class. Thank you. Okay, goodbye, guys.
Sorry, Loshi. Have a great day.
Goodbye, Lakshay.
Bye bye.
You too. You too.
Bye, Lakshay.